Welcome. My name is Command Sergeant Major Brunk W. Conley. I am the State Command Sergeant Major for the Oregon Army National Guard. I want to thank each and every one of you for being a member of our team. We've searched high and low. Our recruiters have gone all over this great state to hand select you to be part of what I consider the greatest organization on the face of the planet. With that, we know that you could not be a member of this team without the support of your family members. So please convey the Adjutant General my sincere thank you to your family members for allowing you to serve. And lastly, again, we couldn't do this without our employers being understanding about our dual mission of being citizens and soldiers. So my thanks and hats off to them for also allowing you to serve. Okay, so why are we shooting this video? Bottom line up front. We have a serious issue in the state of Oregon. Over the last 4 years, we have been second in the nation in the number of suicides within our ranks as compared to the other 54 states, territories, and districts. This is totally unacceptable. Suicide is not a culture within our organization, and it is not an acceptable means of dealing with problems. So, the Adjutant General and I, and some very key leaders within the organization, have decided to do the full court press and get this information out so that our soldiers can deal with adversity better than we've been dealing with it. So this video is about resiliency, problem solving, leadership, and a command message about how we are going to attack this, seek to solve the problems, and get our soldiers the help they need before they make a choice that we view is again, not acceptable in our culture. So with that, we're going to move forward with the video, and I hope you get some very important information and tools that will help you address this at the team, squad, and section level. So with that, let's move on. Okay, now we're going to get into the real meat of this video, and that's resiliency. We've been at war since 9/11. We have deployed numerous times to far reaches of our world, both domestic and foreign, and we've asked a lot of you, and you have had a lot of hardships in leaving your families, going and doing what your nation has asked you to do, and we owe it to you to make sure that you are reintegrated and that you have all the training necessary to deal with any issues or problems that may arrive. So I want to stop here and talk about the role of the NCO. Our NCOs, our sergeants, our team leaders, squad leaders, and section leaders are responsible for the training of our soldiers. It's one of our core responsibilities as non-commissioned officers. Now, we all know from being in basic training, AIT, and our leadership schools, how to train in our combat missions. We know how to teach our soldiers to zero their weapons, how to drive our vehicles, how to use our equipment. But that's not the only training that we are responsible for. We are also responsible for training our soldiers in how to deal with adversity, how to deal with problems. So do not be single focused on the combat skills. Make sure that you are also focusing on the resiliency training that we have all received at our schoolhouses on how to help our soldiers address issues and problems in their lives. So, when you deal with those problem-solving techniques, it really comes down to those squad leaders, team leaders, and section leaders, okay? When you have your soldiers in formation and you have the opportunity to do some hip pocket training, make sure that you take the time to make resiliency and problem solving as one of those lines of training. Because we only have our soldiers for a limited time. We only have for drill weekends and annual training. And we need to arm them and equip them with the skills and the tools necessary to deal with problems that they encounter over those other 28 days of the month. So please, make that a focus on how to deal with adversity. Some of the tools that I'd like to emphasize that we have at our disposal is the Global Assessment Tool. The Global Assessment Tool is an online test, questionnaire, what have you, that is a Army requirement that is located at Army Knowledge Online on AKO. The Global Assessment Tool focuses on 5 areas of a soldier's life. It is not divulged to your leaders. It is a self-diagnostic tool that you use to measure your resiliency in spiritual areas, community areas, social areas, family areas, and physical well-being. So you take that tool, it is a requirement, so it's mandated that you do it, and then you get feedback from your answers to that, and it then gives you individual courses or options that you can take to improve in areas that you may be weak in. There is no shame in having areas in which you're weak. I took the test myself. I had areas in which I did not score as high as others, and it gave me some tools to address some of those areas of weaknesses that I can improve upon and make me a more resilient soldier, make me more able to meet my need or my mission of being the State Command Sergeant Major and being there when you need me. So the same thing for you. When you identify those areas, take it as an area that you can work on and become a better soldier, a better person by using that. One of the other things that we do, that we have done over the last few years, is we've embedded resiliency training in all of our schoolhouse training. We have it all the way, the RSP, when you are a recruit, before you ship off to basic training in AIT, they have blocks of instruction on resiliency. When you go to basic in AIT, they embed resiliency training in those courses. And then as you move on to the other courses that we take, the Warrior Leader course, the Advanced Leader course, Senior Leader course, all the way up to the Command Sergeant Major, or the United States Army Sergeant Major's Academy, we teach resiliency. I feel real comfortable about those two things. We got to get better at the Global Assessment Tool, but we're on our way, and I feel comfortable about the schoolhouse. The one area where I think that we can get better is at the unit level. I've already touched on it with our frontline leaders, but company commanders and first sergeants, I particularly ask you to schedule time in your training schedule to talk about resiliency, to give your frontline leaders the opportunity to talk to their soldiers, and continue to emphasize it throughout the year at your drills and at AT. And that should be one of the things that we really focus on to get better at. Again, this is not just a holiday requirement. This is a requirement every day and every minute that we have our soldiers in formations. One of the other things that we have is a website called fortoregon.com. We've also bought the rights to fortoregon.net and fortoregon.org. Any of those websites will take you to an online location that will help you seek out information, seek out tools that will help you become more resilient, help you solve problems. It's not, and in that website, it's not just resiliency. There's all kinds of things about our 30, 60, 90-day reintegration programs, our pre-deployment training. There are things there for families, for employers. So I urge you to go to that website, check it out, and glean through it and find out what you can use that will make you a better soldier. Okay, let's talk about the Oregon National Guard. I know that those of you that have heard me talk, I believe in this organization from head to toe. I believe that it's the greatest organization on the face of the planet. It is a true honor to be a member of this team, and I hope that each and every one of you feel the same. Being a member of this organization is something special, and every single one of you is important. There's nothing we can't accomplish if we are a cohesive team and everybody is there and everybody is focused on completing whatever mission that we're given. Okay? So, we have identified that we have a few issues. There are many good actors out there, many good programs, but I'll be honest with you, I have a hard time wading through all the information that I'm inundated with about the programs and training that we have available for our soldiers, families, and employers. So here at the state level, we've identified this. and the Adjutant General has convened a committee to make sure that all of our programs are readily available and focused in a simple, organized manner for our squad leaders and team leaders to access. Now, we're not there yet, but you can expect over the next few months that you will be receiving materials and training on how to get that in a simple format out to our enlisted soldiers. Okay, so now I'm going to wrap some things up. One of the things that we overlook, and I don't think we take seriously enough, and we can't emphasize enough, is our warrior ethos. All right? And it's really very simple. There are 4 lines to it. Number 1, I will always place the mission first. What does that mean? That means that we are selfless. We think about our mission, which is always very important, be it a combat mission or a domestic response mission, that we put the mission ahead of our own personal needs, that we focus on what we need to do to support our president, our governor, and our leaders in what they ask of us. So, as a warrior, we know that you've stepped up to that commitment. We know that you believe in that. And I just ask you to remember, I will always place the mission first. Next line, I will never accept defeat. You know, we all come to points in our life where we get overwhelmed with events. There are all kinds of stresses, be it family, financial, personal, educational, and that's okay. It's okay to have adversity in your life. It's unavoidable, as a matter of fact. The way that you handle the adversity is the important part to that. There is nothing that you will ever face that you will not be able to overcome. So I ask that you use that line, I will never accept defeat, not only as a combat line, but as a line to live your life. You will never let events overcome your ability to respond to those events and overcome those. Now with that, I need to make sure that you understand that it is no shame to ask for assistance. There is no negative connotation in saying, I need some help. All right? I have been in many situations in the military and in my personal life where I couldn't have gotten through it without the help of others. Okay? And so part of that line, never accept defeat, doesn't mean that you have to do it alone. Doesn't mean that you have to be out there on your own and that others won't help you. We will help. Your leaders will help you. So with that comes your responsibility to communicate. All right? You need to communicate with your battle buddy, with a trusted leader, and make sure that you seek out the help that you need. The next line is, I will never quit. This is pretty near and dear to my heart because I'll come back to a personal experience. That line right there is the key to finishing Ranger School. If you never quit Ranger School, you will finish. All right? You are the only one that's in charge of that. You are the one that determines whether you quit or not. It's right there in our warrior ethos, and you agreed to that when you signed up to be a member of this organization, is that you won't quit. You won't give up, no matter how bad the situation is. You need to overcome it. You need to seek help. You need to find answers. You need to continually work to find a way to answer whatever adversity you're facing. I know you will do that. I have every confidence. You've already shown it in many of the things that you've done. So never quit, all right? And we won't quit on you. Last, and this is a great one to end on, okay? I will never leave a fallen comrade. Or I will never leave them in you can add to that, I will never leave them in a dangerous situation. As leaders, especially team leaders, our sergeants, this is one of the most important statements in that warrior ethos. You have to have the pulse of your team, of your squad, of your section. You have to know your soldiers and know their body language. You have to talk to them and find out what's going on in their lives. You have to really be proactive to make sure that you can keep this up. You may leave a fallen comrade if you are unaware of the situation, and I know you wouldn't do that, right? You would never leave them if you knew that there was a problem. So in order to find that, you've got to open up those lines of communication. You have to make sure that you talk to them, that you get feedback from them, and then finally that you follow through with it. All right? That's the price of putting on those hard stripes and being an NCO. All right? Now, one of the things that the Army National Guard Sergeant Major, Command Sergeant Major Birch, has really made sure that he's pushed out to all the state Command Sergeant Majors is the idea that to seek help is not a sign of weakness. Now, I grew up and I've had a hard time with this, folks. I grew up in that hard-charging infantry environment where, you know, you've got to have a persona of being able to solve all the problems and I can take the world's problems on my shoulder. You know, that's an old-fashioned, unacceptable way of looking at things anymore. We have been at war longer than any time in our history, all right? And some of the things that we're facing, you know, we didn't face 20, 30, 40 years ago. And, you know, we have to be able to step up and say, hey, I need some help, all right? Would you try to recover from a compound fracture of your leg without help from our medical professionals? No, absolutely not. So as we deal with TBI and post-traumatic stress and those things that you may have faced while on a combat deployment or just personal, PTSD is not necessarily a combat-only related thing. We may see things in our civilian careers that may put us at risk for PTSD. I know that we have lots of police officers, a lot of healthcare workers, a lot of EMTs, and folks that see things on a daily basis that are very traumatic. So don't be afraid to say, hey, I'd like to talk to somebody about this. We have a great chaplain corps, we have behavioral health specialists, and we have a lot of programs that our Army has provided for us to help you when you say, hey, I'd like to talk to somebody about this. Okay. So, to wrap up and to close, all right, I hope that you take this message in the vein that it's delivered. We care about every single one of our soldiers and airmen. We want them to be successful in every endeavor that they set out to attempt. We believe that the Oregon National Guard is one of the greatest organizations to help you set yourself up for success in your civilian career and in your families. The educational benefits that we have, the job training that we offer, the leadership training that we offer, make you a better citizen, make you a better person, and make sure that you take advantage of those. We hope that you have a great rest of the training year. We hope that you take this seriously and that you open up lines of communication with your soldiers. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you for giving me the opportunity to serve you. Now, if you need help, all right, you can contact me directly. My email address is brunk, B-R-U-N-K, .conley, C-O-N-L-E-Y, at us.army.mil. You can call Joint Forces Headquarters and ask for my office on the phone, and I will answer. And if I can't find the answer, I will put you in contact with someone who will find the answer. And I expect that same message from every one of our leaders to your soldiers. You can call me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I know all our leaders have the same philosophy. So with that, thanks for this opportunity, and I hope to see you as I visit around the state and go to all the different units and the places where you're doing great training. Thank you.